let's just say that I started to meet all kinds of different people from all walks of life, all kinds of different SCS, and all of them, they were there to impress others. Most people at that age, 19, 20, 21, they weren't there to get drunk. They were there to lead a double life, build this persona that, hey, I'm successful, albeit only for like 4 hours, and I'm going to eat grass for the rest of the week. So I met a lot of these people, but some that stood out to me, the ones that changed me, for better or worse, were these kids who had everything. And I'm talking, there's these, of course, I don't want to bring up the country name, okay, that have absolutely top to bottom, Louboutins, Moschino tops.
Right.
But they've got these soft hands and they look like they haven't done a day of work in their life. So these kids come in and they come in a group of 8 and they buy 50 bottles of Dom Perignon champagne and spend like 25 grand. Yeah, you can't even finish this stuff. What are you doing? But deep down, there is I did experience negative feelings, dark feelings, jealousy, comparison. Why do I not have that? Why do I not deserve that? What has he done to get this?
Yeah.
It's pretty clear it's not his money. It's probably daddy's money, right? But those feelings of comparison crept in. And I'm not sure if any of your listeners have felt this. I'm pretty sure that you have felt this. It might even have been report cards like we were talking about earlier. You just start to compare and you start to ask, why does he deserve this and why do I not? And so at that age, I thought the right thing to do, instead of being jealous, was to work harder. I wanted to be like him. I aspired to have that. And I thought the harder I work, the more I'll get. And then I'll deserve it.
Okay.
And that will, fill this hole in my heart. Where this all changed was when I started to memorize how to play blackjack. So I don't know if your kids are old enough to understand,
I'm sure they do Banlang or something.
But the 21 casino rules seems like a randomized game. It seems like it's based on emotion by feeling, should I take, should I not take? But there's a finite number of outcomes that can happen with blackjack. So long story short, I realized MBS is one of the best rules in the world for 21 for blackjack. They use about 6 decks and an electronic shuffler. Don't know if you want to delete this later, but I realized that there's a finite number of outcomes and you can memorize, basic strategy pretty much on the internet and just practice every night for 3 months. So all this changed, long story short, when I started going to MBS to play blackjack semi-professionally at night. And so the people I sat next to, they were all really different from those people I met at the clubs that I mentioned earlier. They were a league above. They were, there's people losing or making 400, 500K in an hour at some of these tables, especially Baccarat, sometimes 21. And so I only played 21 because it's the only statistically, positive game for the player. And so I looked at these people with huge, insane amounts of money that I, for some reason, aspired to have, but they looked miserable. They had no control over how they spent their money. And we'll talk about this later when it comes to finances. They had no control over how much they lost, how much they made, or when to walk away. And that's when I started to realize that maybe there is no end to this.